My name is Jackson Easinga, and I was the writer, producer, director, editor, and I played the lead role of Officer Elliot Nelson in License and Registration, which is about a guy who decides to become a cop suddenly one day and his fateful first traffic stop. I've been wanting to make a film about a police impersonator since I was a teenager. My first job was a paperboy, and which kind of I don't even know if that job exists anymore. But I read this story about this guy who one day went out and started pulling people over. He pulled over multiple people before enough of those people called 911 and he got arrested. And I just really wanted to explore a character who's so caught up in whatever he thought he was doing. I just wanted to explore that. And I think that there is something funny about it, but there's also something kind of scary about it. And yeah, something kind of sad about it as well. So I think that those three aspects of people who decide to do this, which happens maybe more often than you might think, I felt that kind of blending all of those aspects of that kind of situation together would be the most effective way to tell this story. So I actually wrote the role for somebody else. My cousin Quinn Bolink, who was the lead role in the previous short film that I did. But due to scheduling conflicts, which we found out very close to production, he wasn't able to do it anymore. We found out about 2 weeks before we were going to shoot, and the idea of going through another like casting situation just drove me crazy. And I thought, well, no, I think I can just do this. I wrote it and I know the character. I don't really consider myself an actor, but growing up with a mini DV camcorder, I was acting all the time because I had to. So it was just something that I thought I could do. And all the crew members were close friends of mine. So I think that was a big part of why I was able to do it, because everyone was there for me, everyone was supporting me. When it got difficult, I had people to encourage me, and if I did a take that wasn't so great, I had people who were able to say, let's do another one. And that's what I think I contribute to being able to handle it. Because if I was with a bunch of strangers doing this, I don't know how that would have turned out, honestly. I found the two young actors, Aiden and Cameron, through a casting company out of Detroit. And I was very transparent with the casting company and both of their parents about what the film was about and what the scene was. And we did have a rehearsal the day before we shot that scene, and I just wanted to make sure that they understood kind of what this movie was about and kind of what their role was. And I kind of walked them through all of the effects that we'd be using, and such as the breakaway bottles and things like that, and just made sure that they were comfortable and understood exactly what we were going to be doing. And when they showed up on set, they were ready to go. They knew their lines, and they were really excited to kind of, I don't know, play with like fake blood and choreograph the throwing of the bottle and things like that. They were really interested in it, and so I think that that helped, to just kind of lay it all out and say this is what we're doing, rather than just have them show up and just be like, all right, here's what we're doing, and they don't know what we're doing. So I know that the Midwest isn't as big of a market as, say, New York or LA. I mean, we do have Chicago and Cleveland and a few other pretty big cities, Detroit even. But it's not as big of a pool as LA and New York. So for me, finding work is it's not too difficult. It maybe doesn't occur as often as it would if I was living in LA or New York. But the talent pool here is, I would say, smaller. So I think there's less competition and more opportunity to work on projects. Because when I'm not making, weird short films with my friends, I'm producing videos for the state of Michigan. I'm collaborating with other media and commercial companies in various roles. Uh, I grip. I'm a production assistant. I kind of do everything and anything I can. And the cost of living in the Midwest is also a bonus because if I go a couple weeks without a gig, I can still pay my rent at least. So I would say that's an advantage. Right when things started to get really bad, if you remember, Detroit was kind of an epicenter of the pandemic in the beginning, mid March, end of March. I was actually working on a film in Detroit, a feature, as a first assistant director, and we were the last project shooting before the entire state shut down. We got through almost the entire schedule. We had one day left, but we decided to cancel that day just because everything was getting so bad. And so after that, I went home back to Grand Rapids where I live, and that was on a Friday, and then that Monday came the statewide stay-at-home order, and I've kind of just been sitting here since. I have been able to work a little bit, which I'm thankful for. I was able to work on a television show where everybody was following safety precautions. We all wore masks. We were all 6 feet apart. Bring your own lunch, that kind of thing. So I've seen a little bit of it, and I think that's what I would like to expect for any work that I'm going to continue to do. Just taking this seriously, and I think that right now that's really all we can do as filmmakers is just take everybody's safety into consideration, because it's not just about the crew members, it's about their friends and family and community as well. Since I've been home, quarantined and not getting out much, this is a story that I've always wanted to be a feature film. So I'm actually working on the script for the feature length version of License and Registration. I'm on the third draft now, and I'm getting close, and I'm getting to the point where I'm about ready to start the pre-production process. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now, and that's what I'm excited about. I think it has affected my the story itself and the themes that I'm exploring, because uh, I never meant for this to be a political film, but I guess all art is political. I just kind of wanted to make a dark comedy about a guy who decides to be a cop, but it's kind of become more of like, I guess, a horror movie in that sense where even recently this week, a 17-year-old boy who was obsessed with police drives to another state and shoots two protesters. Like, it's that kind of attitude of glorifying a system that I believe is broken, that is dangerous. And so, yes, I would say that it has affected the story and the themes of the feature.